Hello there. Happy Monday. It is I, Catherine Massell, intuitive energy healer, spiritual growth catalyst, ascending earth creatrix. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the beginning of your work week. And welcome to what really feels like the kicking off week of summer. I mean, we're about to move into solstice energies in a hot minute. What's today, the 18th? So we're talking about 3 days from now, so that's very exciting. Let's see, I want to share this in my group page. So I'm going to find myself live here somewhere, and go to my page, my group. If you're watching, say hello. Becky is watching. That's my girl right there, everybody. I'm going to share this in my group real quick, and I want to talk about the kind of lay of the land here with what's going on in terms of, last week I posted a live about, the confusion, the overwhelm we're experiencing. We have such a surge of celestial energies that are happening, and because we're so connected to not only this planet, but we're spiritual infinite beings as well, so we can't help but feel this major uptick in celestial events. As above, so below. We're going to feel it down here. The thing is, the way it translates for us down here, I'll share while I still have a group. I know I read that today. Big changes for Becky. Which is right on the heels of what I'm talking about, really. Because when we are faced with these times and we feel like, oh my God, there's just so much, there's so much, what's happening is that everything that we really need to look at, the things that maybe we've kind of had in the back of our minds up till now, and, thinking like, yeah, someday soon I'm going to have to deal with this stuff. All of that stuff that you're just like, I'll deal with that later. Here it is, coming right at you. It's in your face. You can't deny it. So this is, yes, maybe a time to feel a little overwhelmed, and you're scratching your head and like, where the hell do I start with this stuff? It can feel really, really disempowering. It can make us feel like, I know I need to work on this stuff, but I don't know where to start, so I don't want to do anything at all, right? Clearing the group has been in the back of my mind since September. Yeah, I know. I'm getting to feel like the big transformation that's happening. Like I'm really feeling, especially my sisters who are doing the same work as I am, and we're all on this journey together of really stepping into more of who we are. And what that means, always and ever, when we are asking for more, when we're asking to reach that next level, we will always see exactly where our upper limits are. We will see the barriers of our comfort zone, yes? We will see, hey Courtney, we will see exactly like where we're comfortable, where kind of our reality, our identity sits well with us, and maybe we're glimpsing just beyond that. Seeing, peeking up over the fence and seeing what's there, and it's enticing, it's exciting, it looks good, I'd like some of that, please. But meanwhile, with all this stuff happening right now and all of our stuff right in our face, all of the things that we haven't wanted to look at, we haven't wanted to deal with, our shadow, whatever you want to call it, our resistance, our blocks, whatever word works for you here, the more you deny it, the more you suppress it, the more you try to push it down and say, I will deal with you later, the more it just comes up. And this is the time of county fairs and carnivals, so you'll know what I'm talking about. Maybe those of you who are in your mid-40s, I don't know if it's still around, you have that game Whack-A-Mole. You guys know Whack-A-Mole? Give me a heart or something if you know that game Whack-A-Mole. That you keep smashing it down, and then it just comes up in another place. Yeah, that's your resistance. Yeah, this is the stuff you don't want to look at. Yeah, this is the stuff that you would rather not deal with right now, thank you very much. Oh, there'll be a time later. I want to deal with it. I know it's there. I can't right now. I gotta do this thing, or I gotta do that thing. What if you then took the God's eye, or the goddess eye perspective, if you will, of saying, if I work on it right now, the stuff that I feel like I have to do, the stuff I feel like I should do, maybe that stuff goes away? And maybe I get to do things that fill me with joy and love and mirth and excitement, inspiration, creativity. And maybe that's stuff that feels like shoulds or have to, or stuff I have to tick off a list. Maybe it doesn't feel so tiresome and boring anymore. Maybe that's the stuff that I really need to be doing. I just have to think about it in a different way or have a different perspective. They still have that. My 3-year-old loves it. Okay, good. That's funny because, yes, I remember it now. I was they have a casino in Reno, Nevada called Circus. And so they got like a faux carnival inside the casino, and they do have whack-a-mole there. I saw it. But I love that analogy, right? Because it makes perfect sense. Like all that stuff that we don't want to look at, and right now, honestly, because I'm feeling it too. I'm here on this earth plane right along with you, girls, ladies, sisters. I feel it too. I feel the upwelling of all of this stuff, and it feels like it's, when I did the live the other day, I was talking about how it has this kind of bottleneck effect. Like it's just coming up because of wherever I want to numb out and wherever I want to block it out. So it's kind of funneling into this tight spot, but you know what happens when you do that? It's like Old Faithful. So it becomes this burst of energy. And as much as you want to avoid that freight train coming and being that big old wake-up call, it's going to come the more you suppress this stuff down. But here's what I'm saying. Circus was our Disneyland when I was growing up in Grass Valley, California. I love Grass Valley. I love it there. I wanted to live there. But I settled for Tahoe instead. And I didn't settle for Tahoe. I love Tahoe. It's amazing. It's beautiful up here. And I can go to Circus anytime I want. So it's just a win-win. So here's what's happening. We're getting overwhelmed. It feels like, okay, now there's so much I have to do. And you're like, what is up? It's summertime. I should be relaxing into my life. I should be, just coasting through the next 3 months. This should be fun for me. Well, here's the thing. It's not either or. You can do this work. You can show up and look at your stuff eye to eye and say, I see you, and let's work together. Let's figure this shit out because I need to live a better life. I must live a better life. I desire a better life. I desire to be touched by transformation in all aspects of my life. I know that's possible for me. I can envision it. I can see it. Maybe I don't feel it, but I can see it. Yeah, I can coast through this summer and do this work at the same time. Now that's a revelation. And the reason Becky says I'm feeling exhausted, I know. But here's the thing. I was too. And I switched my perspective on it a little bit. And I was like, well, how about I do it this way? How about I kind of incrementally work on the stuff that I need to work on and do it in a relaxed way. That way I don't feel so overwhelmed by all of the things and that I have to do all of the things right now. And instead I can feel like I'm just going to break off these bite-sized chunks. And here's what happens when you do that. When you take all the overwhelm, look at it like a puzzle. Like a puzzle that hasn't been put together yet. All the pieces are on the table. You're looking at it and you're saying, okay. Well, I see how this fits together there. And I see how that fits together there. Maybe that doesn't work there. I could make it work there, but it won't. That really won't fit. And it doesn't complete the picture. I can see all this. So what if I just work on like this corner, this little southwest corner of the puzzle right here and just deal with this for like a couple weeks. And then I see where that leads me. And then I'll be inspired by doing a little bit of this work and having the momentum of doing a little bit of this work every single day where I feel like, okay, I got this freight train is moving now. I got some momentum. We're clicking along here. I'm laying down some miles. I'm laying down some track. This is great. And you also, when you kind of incrementally pick apart and look at this stuff and work on it, you have this wonderful perspective then of being able to see how fun it can be to be, yes, dare I say, fun to be on this journey where you're doing little things at a time, little achievable things that you can do, things that are easy to achieve, things that are easy for you to tackle. This always happens when you do it in bite-sized chunks, baby steps, right, Courtney? We've been talking about this a lot. That's what builds momentum. So let's just say you have this big thing you have to work on. but you're doing it in little piecemeal bits every single day, creating that momentum, keeping the drive going, keeping the inspiration going, keeping the creative juices flowing, because whenever we're in problem-solving mode and it feels good, like we feel inspired to do the work, that's when solutions show up. If you feel like I have to do this work and it sucks and it's taking me away from having fun laying on the beach or whatever, A, you're less likely to show up and do this kind of work. And B, it just feels like grunt work. And it just puts you into worry and panic mode. And guess what that does? It takes you out of being solution-oriented. If you can have fun on this journey of uncovery or self-discovery, whatever you want to call it, and you can have fun, by the way. I'm a weirdo. I love doing shadow work, and it's fun for me. I'm a natural detective, so I'm a sleuth. I like to look in between the layers. I like to pick up rocks, turn them over, and see all the bugs underneath. I like to pick this stuff apart. That's why I'm really good at what I do, because I like to do this for other people too, not just myself. And I get paid for it, which is nice. To get paid to do something that I really like to do and is natural to me. So if you are doing it in little piecemeal bits, breaking this stuff down, you're more likely to show up and do the work every single day, creating momentum. And guess what happens? Let's just say a month goes by. You've had this momentum of doing this work in piecemeal bits, little bite-sized chunks, baby steps every single day for a month. And then you stand back and look at that puzzle piece again. Half the puzzle's put together. That's how this stuff works. So start thinking about it as, okay, this could be fun. It could be fun to know more about myself. And the other thing about doing it that's a fun thing too, is on this journey of uncovery or discovery, unearthing, exhuming parts of self, you get to discover more about you. That's a win. That's a win right there. And because you're doing it in baby steps and you're making achievable goals your thing, and you have, let's say in the span of a month, 29 goals that you've achieved, and you look back on that and say, look at all this progress I made. I rose to this challenge, and I had 29 different opportunities to rise to this challenge and get on the other side of it, and I did. When you start seeing that level of achievement within yourself, man, does that instill you with a sense of self-belief. Man, does that give you an incredible sense of faith and trust in yourself and in this process. And guess what you're left with? This idea that whatever you want is doable. It's achievable. And this is something I was talking about today in Heal, Awaken, Align Bootcamp. If you can imagine it, it can be, right? That's the most wonderful divine gift that we have here as human beings, is our ability to imagine new ways of being. And if you have the ability to imagine it, then you have the way to execute it. Problem is, we get so overwhelmed sometimes, we forget how to start. We forget how to get going. We forget how to fill in the blanks, right? I was just thinking about this and was going to talk about fun tomorrow. Yeah, because it's such a pertinent topic. It's so powerful when we can change the perspective on this, on what we feel like is self-work, right? Working on ourselves, trying to make ourselves better, and we feel like we have to have this nose to the grindstone attitude about it, and we've got to be all serious about it. That's not the way I teach. That's not the way I teach. I mean, there are teachers like that, and they have, very, very powerful results with their clients. I'm not taking that away, and I'm not diminishing that at all. But I'm just saying, I'm more about the fun. And once I started to settle into the fun on my own journey of self-discovery, and I started realizing how I could teach that to other people, we could have fun, we can laugh, we can joke, right? We can make fun of ourselves. We can have a lighthearted attitude and approach to real, deep, true, lasting transformation. Then the journey is a lot more fun. And if you are equating, I want to talk about this real quick. If you are equating whatever it is you want to be, do, or have, it's like, okay, well, I want freedom because freedom is going to feel great. Or I just want to be happy. I want to be content because that's going to feel great. But if the journey that you're on to get there is not aligned with that energetic, meaning I want to feel good, but I'm going to suffer and struggle and work and be nose to the grindstone so I can feel good. Does that make any sense to you at all? The journey has to be fun. The journey has to match the energetic of your end result, of what your desired creation, of what it is that you want to be, do, or have. This is, to me, this is common sense. To me, this is common sense. Sometimes we don't always think about it this way. And let's be fair, we're working with a lot of old paradigms and structures of, in order to be wealthy or to have this or that or the other thing, we have to suffer and struggle. Oh my God, just work at the keyboard, type in content until our fingers are bleeding and until our eyes are popping out of our head. No, I'm telling you no. I'm not trying to blow smoke up your ass and say, don't do the work, don't show up and do the work. But let's move away from the idea of work and instead let's supplant it with self-discovery, self-examination. It sounds very proper and intellectual. Self-uncovery. These things sound a lot more light. We're moving in the right direction than work, doing the work on yourself. It has to be done. You got to look at your stuff. You got to look at what's holding you back. And sometimes we don't always know what that is. I just put a post about Heal, Awaken, Align Bootcamp, and if you read that and I'm talking to you, you need to get in this bootcamp. But this idea that, sometimes we know all our stuff. We know what is holding us back. We know where our resistance is. We know what our blocks are. We see it. We know it. And like I was saying at the beginning of the talk here, they're like, yeah, I'd rather not deal with that right now. Thank you very much. But if you are in denial or self-deception about just how much impact your stuff has on your life and how much it's holding you back from what you want, if you continue to be in self-denial and self-deception about this, and you just say, you know what, I know all this stuff is there, I have the awareness that it is, and then you stop right there, well, you're at a jumping off point. You're at a jumping off point. Because awareness is the first thing, right? Awareness and acceptance, those are the cornerstones of being able to make major life-shifting transformations in your life. Yes? Awareness and acceptance. Not acceptance in the sense that I'm going to stay right here then. There is no other way for me to be. And I'm not talking about that acceptance. Acceptance of this is my present. Because when you do that, it gives you the contrast of saying, well, here's where I am, and here's where I want to be. But we get so overwhelmed then with that acceptance. We get paralyzed with that acceptance, or what we think acceptance is, that we don't want to take any action. And in fact, we become paralyzed from taking any action because we don't know where to start. What if you had a step-by-step process for all of this? I mean step-by-step, from the get-go. Looking at the blocks you do have, you don't know what they are? Let's find them. Let's get at them. Let's excavate them. Let's exhume them. Let's get them out of there. Let's change them. Let's take them out of the equation that this is your identity. Let's take them out of the equation that this is how I have to be. This is how I should be. This is the role I have to play. What if we could work within a whole new paradigm of looking at that stuff? What if we could then create a whole new foundational way of being? Yeah. That's what the Heal, Awaken, Align Bootcamp is, ladies. That's what it's all about. It's a step-by-step process. And we're only 3 weeks in, and there are already major transformations happening for the women in the group. So think about this stuff. And if you have questions, go ahead and put them in the comments, or share with me what's going on. Share with me what's going on with you. I'd love to know. And if this stuff is really speaking to you, like, where do I start? Like, yeah, Catherine, I hear everything you're saying. I know all this. Like, intellectually, I know all this. I'm aware of it. I am accepting that this is where I am, but it feels so big that I don't even know where to start. I don't even know what to do. Well, what if you did? What if you had all the tools to start unraveling all your stuff and looking at all this stuff? And what if, let's just say by the end of the summer, you're looking at that puzzle and it's all put together. It all makes sense. It's all forming a completely different picture. Transformation. Many of us want it, but many of us don't know how to get it or create the shifts that turn into transformation. I'm talking about shifts and changes that touch every aspect of your life, every part of who you are. That's what I'm offering. So if this is speaking to you, this is a powerful 6-week program. It is a boot camp because there's some tough love in there. It's going to hurt a little bit, only a teeny bit. But not because I'm a sadist, not because I don't like you, it's because I love you. I want you to see your stuff for what it is. I want you to see exactly what's holding you back and why. I want you to see that there is a totally new way of being based on what is aligned with your soul level desires, right? And maybe some of you don't know what those are. We can find that out too. This is a powerful transformational course. It starts on July 30th. It's 6 weeks. We meet twice a week on Mondays and Thursdays at 11 a.m. Pacific time for hourly calls. So that's 2 hours of support where I fire you up. If you get fired up by listening to me here on my business page or in my group, then you'll really be fired up in Heal, Awaken, Align Bootcamp. And then you get actionable exercises, things that help you to execute your goals and your desires, to help you move from this place of, I hope things will get better, to start doing the things that are making things better, to start being better. And it happens right out the gates. It happens in the first week of this course. It is just boom, 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 content, value, 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 and firing you up. And you have a Facebook group of support. There's some amazing women who are going to be with us in round 2. I hope you join us. I hope this speaks to you. I hope this hits you in the feels. I really want that to hit you in all this that I said. I want it to hit you in the feels. And start thinking about, what could I start being, doing, having? What could the end of my summer look like? What would I look like at the end of my summer? It doesn't matter what you want to work on. It so happens that the women in the course are working on creating a more spiritually aligned business for themselves. I didn't call that in. This course is really about manifesting anything you want, because it's the same set of rules, the same set of actionable goals that you put in place for pretty much anything you want. It just so happens that the women that signed up for the first round, they're all working on creating a more spiritually aligned business. Where they make more money doing what they love. Don't we all want that? Anyway, ladies, I hope you have a beautiful day. I'm going to go out and play with my doggy and go soak my head in the lake. So have a lovely day. I'll talk to you again this week. Bye-bye.